Gefilte fish!
Gefilte fish rises.
Gefilte fish tired.
Back in the mix with another stellar review.
We've seen it.
This is it, the big one. It's finally coming.
Dark Knight Rises, here we are.
Yeah, because the second one was it was kind of a hit, I think. It did fairly well.
It was okay.
In some circles. It is.
Some could say it's a box office flop.
Never really thought it was popular.
It is. It is the reason we now have 10 Best Picture nominations. So that's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. So now the conclusion to what is heralded as, you know, very significant films in the genre of comic book, you know, movies, which have become so important and, you know, a big deal in the summer blockbusters and blockbusters in general. So it's a big deal that this one's come out.
Definitely.
So the cool thing about this film is it's sort of set 8 years after the events where Two-Face died, and Batman's taking the blame for the fall of Two-Face, and
everyone hates him now.
Yeah, and Gotham's living under this lie that Harvey Dent saved, you know, the White Knight saved Gotham from the Joker. Gotham is living this lie, and that comes. It's a big theme that sort of transpires through the whole film, and it's quite an interesting theme actually. Like, what has Batman actually accomplished in his time in the cowl?
Yeah, and Batman's kind of just
he's
faded from the light.
He's faded.
He's gone. And to be honest, they haven't really needed him. From what it sounds like, it's 8 years. It's, you know, peacetime. Woo!
Yeah.
We won.
Exactly. The underground army of Bane is sort of residing within the sewers of Gotham, and you know they're sort of about to initiate a plan to really ruin the city and take it back.
Yeah, and nobody really knows what their motivations are, and to be honest, people are kind of just playing the whole thing down. Nobody really wants to believe that anything like this could happen without anyone really knowing.
The real genius of the plot in this one, I think, is how it follows on from stuff we've seen in the first two movies perfectly, and addresses everything that's going to happen in those two movies, but without feeling really tacked on, as sometimes, especially third movies do.
Compared to The Dark Knight, it's a lot more focused on Batman.
Yeah.
Finally.
As opposed to, like, Batman Begins was all about Batman, and Dark Knight was just more about, you know,
the city and
the city itself, and
it's about Gotham, you know.
And it had a lot to do with the Joker and Two-Face, but this one, it's gone back to, you know the predicaments that, you know, and the toll it's taken on Bruce Wayne, and he's washed up, and he doesn't have any direction.
I mean, he doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, it really shows the after effects of the Dark Knight, and it's really intense. Like, I don't remember coming out of the Dark Knight thinking things would be that bad for him, but it's like, wow, he really hammers it home that he's got nothing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's like that.
In the end, you know, Gotham's fine. Gotham's going great. It's in a period of growth and prosperity, and Bruce Wayne is, you know, he's washed up. He's got an awesome beard. His leg is fucked.
I kind of left there to kind of pick up the pieces for himself, because literally he's
just a recluse. He's a complete recluse.
He's taken the brunt of what's happened.
He's got a little picture of Rachel Dawes on his dresser.
Very nice. Yeah, I thought we'd better.
And his relationship with Alfred is really cool in this one, even though I'd like to have seen a bit more, and that's one of my complaints about the film. But the scenes that you do see them together, there's just this earnestness and this fatherly, this platonic relationship between them is just really quite touching in a few spots.
Well, Alfred's kind of position in this movie really addresses something really interesting about superheroes in general, which is like, they have all this power, all this like money or intelligence or whatever, and all they use it for is putting on a cape and fighting other weird guys. And it's like, yeah, you could do so much more outside of this suit.
When he put on the Batman suit for the first time in 8 years, I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
He's coming back into the fold, but he's not quite 100%, you know, he's a little bit rusty.
He's putting on the bat suit because there's Bane is here. And Nolan said something interesting with Bane in that he he's once again taken the liberty of artistic license in, you know, changing the character to suit his universe that he's created. And I think he's done a really great job in actually combining the bigger noticeable characteristics of the character from the comic into this new sort of, you know, mercenary terrorist
but in his
character in his own way. And he's put in enough backstory and key sequences to make it feel like, yeah, that is Bane.
You know who the character is, and there's elements that you'll recognise, but Nolan's done his own version. So,
but I think out of every single character he's done, every single enemy, he's taken the most. He's really deviated the most with Bane.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's not much of the comic in there.
Yeah,
Bane.
exactly.
I mean, he's not, as people assumed, he's not pumping up on Venom or anything. He's not turning into a giant hulking mass, which of course was never going to happen.
Yeah.
But he does do some really interesting things with that character.
Bane's a master tactician, and he just gets shit done.
Do you think the Joker's ruthless, and he is, but Bane, he's ruthless on a different
level.
Different level. I mean, yeah, the way that he just kind of carries himself throughout the film, character-wise, it's just like, fuck, you don't want to mess with this dude, like, because he won't think twice about just, you know, throwing you in a hole and just leaving you there.
Literally
leaving you there.
And there's this one fight sequence that you see in the trailer in the sewers, and that was just one of the best hand-to-hand combat scenes I've seen in a very, very long time, if ever, because they drop out the music. It's just the
Bang.
visceral sounds of the water and the punching, and Batman is struggling. Bane is almost playing with Batman.
He definitely is. He knows. He even makes a throwaway line. He's like, "You're fighting like a young man, just throwing everything at me, leaving nothing for the end." And you know, this is after a good 5 minutes of, you know, them going at it. And Bane just gets up and then he, you know, continues to essentially demolish Batman.
I was feeling those punches.
Batman he was desperate. He threw everything at him. He even threw his little gadgets at him, and Bane was like, "You've got to be kidding me! You're throwing this at me now?
It's intense seeing your hero up there just copping it.
Yeah.
So hard.
But at the same time, I was like, this is awesome.
The plan execution of what the plan is very interesting.
Yeah, and you know, as it starts to unfold, and you know, they essentially come to the conclusion. It's like, there's really not a lot we can do. I mean. Not in just a film sense where it's like, oh, there's nothing we can do, but we're going to pull out this, you know, rabbit out of the hat. They've thought about everything.
Like, Bane's got the plan down.
Not even as a comic book movie. It was just like this is just an amazing terror plot. Like he dominates Batman, then he just dominates Gotham, and he's just in complete control of everything. It's amazing.
I understood about 75% of what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my. I've got a few gripes of the film. That was one that we touched upon in our most anticipated talk before.
We were fucking right.
We were right.
But they have cleaned it up.
Yeah, I stand by what I said though, because Nolan can say, oh, but you get the gist of it, that's okay. No, that's not good enough when you have such a smartly written character who's just dealing with such important themes and such interesting stuff, and you can't quite catch what he's saying, and you're straining like, well, what's he saying?
And I was like, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, even in a more general sense, I mean, Hans Zimmer, I love him, man, but sometimes I couldn't hear what people were saying over it.
I do.
I loved how the Bane's musical theme, it was I didn't think they were going to use it like that, but it was really cool. It was,
I just want to see footage of Tom Hardy doing ADR. Gotham, Batman, Mr. Wayne.
I'll sleep with your wife.
Yeah, so Bane was a great decision, and I think he executed him really well, and the amount of backstory and the motivations were really compelling and interesting.
Really good.
His story comes full circle, and it's better than I.
Yeah, he comes up with really quite tied to the comics, but also really new origin for Bane, and it's really cool.
Catwoman, the other baddie.
Yeah, a real contentious issue for the film. Catwoman. I mean, a lot of people were hating on her.
Yeah, I'm very happy to say that I thought she was executed very well. And
Anne Hathaway,
she did a great job.
I thought she played it really well. Because I had big worries about her. I didn't think.
I like Anne Hathaway, and I thought she was going to be good, and I think she was good. And I really liked even just the kind of aesthetic they took for her, like the old Julie Newmar from the old 60s TV show.
And I liked how they did the ears with the goggles.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That it wasn't too hammy. Like it wasn't, and you know, in Nolan's universe, it was difficult for them to sort of figure out the Catwoman costume, and that worked for me.
But at the same time, I really I thought she was good, but I struggled to feel her place in it all. I feel like she felt a little tacked on to me, and this is a long movie, and I just don't know if she was necessary, honestly.
No, I was going to bring that up. I definitely think she sort of comes in spots in the movie, and
she's introduced very, very early on.
Very early on.
Yeah, which I
and kind of sporadically throughout the whole movie.
And while she is in the Bane plot, it almost feels sandwiched.
Yeah.
But on the whole, you know, Nolan's done 2 villains for each Batman film, and he was going to do 2 in this one because it's the finale. So...
One person that we left at, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
Gordon-Levitt.
Who plays a big role.
I love the guy.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, and I thought he was really great in this. Everyone's been speculating, who is he in this movie?
Again, another character that I thought, why is this guy here?
Yeah, and why Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Because he doesn't play meek and mild Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
But he's the eager cop, he sees stuff going on and is like, well, are we going to do something with this or what?
Yeah, he really takes a kind of a huge role in the second half where he's really driving a lot of the plot, it was really good to see. I just enjoyed watching him.
And Marion Cotillard was pretty good as well.
Yeah, well, she's
always good.
Yeah,
always good.
I've got nothing bad to say about her. Yeah, she's hot and...
Yeah, doesn't have a huge presence in the film, but when she's there, she's very good.
Yeah. So, a few returning characters. We've got Alfred, we've already kind of talked about his relationship. We got...
Lucius Fox, he's back in the mix, but, that was to be expected.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of banter between Bruce Wayne and Lucius, which is fun.
Good. Yeah, fun.
Always fun to see. And he introduces the Bat.
Yeah, the Bat, it's...
Which is his primary vehicle now.
Like, it kind of earned its place in the movie, but at first I just thought this was kind of lame. It really feels like merchandising to me, which is like a big part of superhero movies, obviously. But I suppose by the time the movie finishes, you're like, yeah, that needed to be in there. But
I love the design of it. It was almost like skeletal, like the undercarriage.
A big bug or something.
I love seeing it land on the helipad. I was like, oh, it looks like Star Wars.
I didn't like it. Just looks so CG flying around.
Yeah, there was.
Especially at the end when the missiles shot at it.
Oh, I didn't think that was
flying,
as
and
bad.
I was like, ooh.
But there's one scene where he's like, I think it was the missiles where it's flying towards the camera and the missiles are flying behind it. I was like,
there was a shot where the Bat went like this across the frame like that, and it seemed like a real non-Nolan thing to do. For me, like some of the VFX was a little bit dodge.
Yeah, I would say for a $250 million movie, I wouldn't say it's really up to standard.
It was a bit dead.
Yeah.
The football field scene, I think same complaints. I still don't think it looks all that great.
Oh, it's shot for shot the same thing that's in the trailer. I mean,
that whole sequence is cut pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And that sort of it makes the scene feel a little has a little less impact. I mean, can't speak for those who haven't seen the trailer. And I'd be interested to see people's reaction who haven't seen the trailer, how they take that scene. But for me, it was sort of, I never really liked that whole football thing. Oh, it's a big American sport, and this is what America's all about, and now we're gonna take down what binds America together.
I think it works a lot better in the movie though, because that's like when he really reveals what his plot is, and when you find that's just like holy shit. So that. I
felt like I was like, oh, okay, so I've seen this. I've just got to wait until this bit goes by, and then I'm back into it. And
I just thought I don't think Nolan really knows how to handle himself in the CGI world. Yeah, and credit to him because he has done such an amazing job of shooting things in camera.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's one of the few directors, who doesn't go, all right, green screen, 360 green screen, and we'll put it in post. Cool. Cool. He's like, no, we're building a fucking set, or we're shooting on location.
And it really, that kind of setup, it pays off. I mean, in The Dark Knight, I remember I watched the feature, he was saying, a lot of the things look realistic. That's because it is. That truck, we flipped that fucking truck in the middle of the street. That car that we blew up, we blew the shit out of it. Yeah. It looks real because we did it.